2021 has been an insane year in hip-hop, especially for women. For Complex News, I'm Claire Ateku, and I am here with my faves Natasha Martinez and Alana Yzola to talk about our top picks for Women of the Year, Best Song of the Year, Collab of the Year, and Who's Next Up. Sounds good?
Definitely. Lots of good categories, lots to cover. I'm also just so excited to be here with you guys. This is our first time in studio together.
It's crazy.
So shout out.
I've only seen Natasha like virtually, and Claire too.
That's in the Zoom square.
In the Zoom square.
So now we're all together.
Look at that.
And we get to talk about women in music. So
Yes.
like, what a better time.
Perfect.
So I feel like it's impossible for us to talk about 2021 in music without talking about TikTok. A lot of artists have been using TikTok as a catalyst to grow their careers. While Adele said that she doesn't agree with kind of like making music only for TikTok, a lot of artists it has worked for. So I'm curious, do you guys feel like that's a strategy that's worth taking?
I am in favor of Adele a little bit. TikTok, let me just break this down. Like, TikTok is not the first platform, of course, that helped promote careers. Before TikTok, there was MySpace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole MySpace era popped off. Then YouTube, like
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. Justin Bieber was found on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? So social media has always been a catalyst. But there are a lot of songs on TikTok that are popping, and you go and play them, and it's like, oh,
it's not giving.
It's not doing what it's
Just
supposed
the
to do.
15-second that you heard, you're like, oh, that's the part. And then you're like, oh, okay.
That's it? Really? That's all you got?
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorites?
So I would say my personal pick for 2021 viral crossover song of the year is gonna be No More Parties by Coi Leray.
Or did you mean Coi Leray?
Coi Leray. Wait, let me tell you guys the most embarrassing story. When I was at Rolling Loud, I was interviewing Coi Leray. And right before I was about to interview her, Kid Leroy's team came by and was like, oh, do you want to interview Kid Leroy? Ended up not interviewing Kid Leroy. But then when I went to go talk to Coi Leray, I was like, what up, Coi? What did I say? Coi Leroy. And she was like, she gave me like the death stare. And I recovered from it, but I was like, oh, and every time I say her name, Coi Leray, it like burns in my brain of that exact moment.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give her this one for viral crossover song of the year is No More Parties because it had everybody doing the little dance challenge. What's your pick?
Okay, my pick is Doechii, Yucky Blucky Fruitcake. First of all, it had everything that a TikTok song should have and a good song should have. So like when I first heard it, it was definitely on TikTok. I was scrolling through and it was like, Doechii, introduce yourself to the class, okay? Which plays into like the skit quality of TikTok. Like people can like play with that, the transition quality of TikTok. It played in with a lot of different trends that made it poppin'. But then when I actually went and played the song, I'm like, oh my God, this is an artist.
This is a bop.
This is a bop. She got bars.
It was a masterpiece.
It was
honestly.
a whole masterpiece. Like the whole, from the music video itself to the actual like content of what she was saying, how she was introducing herself, the vulnerability of herself, like willing that transition into that slow song, and that transition was so fucking relatable. Like, Doechii, you forgot to take the chicken out. Like, I've been there.
Triggered.
Into the Paramore lyrics, which speaks to like us millennials. At least me, I'm one of those old millennials on TikTok. But I was like, it actually brought tears to my eyes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds crazy, but the first time I heard that song, it's like one of those songs where I wish I could listen to it for the first time again. Like, I will never forget that moment, just in my car, like, oh my God, I just went through a whole experience.
And I just became addicted to her. Like, I've just been listening to all of her music. Like, the way that she just uses her voice as like an instrument in itself. Like, I started listening to like Spooky Coochie, another song by Doechii, like so many ways that she plays with her own voice and makes it an instrument. And I feel like TikTok got it right that time. So that's gonna be my favorite.
Yeah,
totally.
And what about
Well, listen, everyone who knows me and anyone who follows me on social media knows that I am a TikTok fan. Literally, in 2020, I ended up with not one, not two, but 3 ring lights to become TikTok famous, okay? That was my whole
dedication.
plan. I was like, the world is ending, let me do some whoa. Like, literally, I was like, okay, TikTok, I'm a huge fan. And you know, I think that it is undeniable what the app has done for the music industry. I think it's true that other social platforms have really, you know, had that crossover with different artists and music, but I don't think there's ever been an app that did it as fast as TikTok did, as huge as TikTok did. There's so many artists now, like obviously Lil Nas X. I know this isn't hip hop, but Olivia Rodrigo. I mean, it's undeniable what the app has done. And for me personally, like I find a lot of new artists on there. Doechii was one of the people I found on there. More recently, Amaarae. She has the Sad Girls Love Money track with Kali Uchis that is like amazing. But I gotta say for my pick, it's gotta be Bia, Whole Lot of Money. I mean, I feel like her moment, I'm pretty sure that popped off in March, it lasted the entire year. So it was cool that this woman who had been working for literally 10 years is now having this resurgence and a whole new second leg of her career. So I gotta say it's a Whole Lot of Money, and then, you know, it obviously transpired into the Nicki Minaj remix, but that's my pick for TikTok crossover.
And I think if we're talking honorable mention, we gotta give it to Doja Cat and Megan. Megan with Thought Shit. And of course. And then Doja Cat with Doja Cat had several bops.
So I think one of the cool things about it being 2021 is, you know, maybe that trend of women against women is finally gone. You know, I do feel like we're past that. And one of the examples, like I said, was the Whole Lot of Money remix. And I talked to Bia about that process. And she told me Nicki was like a mentor to her. Like she gave her like advice, and, you know, she cared enough about Bia as an artist to do that. So let's roll into that clip really quick, because I think it's really great.
She definitely opened my eyes to like maybe some different flows, I would say, because she flows, I flow kind of like a lot differently, you know, so she was kind of like, hey, you know, try this pattern or try that, and I wouldn't have tried that had she had told me not, you know, to go in that bag. So
my question to you guys is, do you feel like the cattiness between women is over in hip hop, or do you think that, you know, there's still some rivalry going on, and is that even a bad thing, you know?
Yeah.
I totally think that it's over, or at least it's on its way out. Like I think for so long people kind of had this idea, and it's primarily the industry that's made it seem like there can only be like one girl on top. But I feel like now we're seeing women kind of like come together and be like, no, we can all eat and we can all be together and we can all kill it in our own respective lanes. So I would love to see more of that. I mean, like, bad bitches link up is what they say, and it's like you can what do they say? Empowered women empower women. So it's like support your sister, because at the end of the day, when one wins, we all win.
That's true. And I love that sentiment.
Yeah.
And I wish it was true.
Shake the table. You about to shake the table.
I'm gonna say this. I think that the term cattiness in itself is anti-feminist. I think that all celebrities, if you are trying to get to the top and be at the top of your career, male or female, you're gonna be looking at the person next to you. Like that's just facts. Like I think that there's a hyper focus on women bickering back and forth, because the women are the ones with the stereotype of bickering back and forth. See,
because men be messy too.
Men
be arguing.
Men be killing each other. How about that?
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, so and so, you know, RIP, you know. So like literally fill in the blanks, unfortunately, especially this year. And when that happens, it's like, oh man, like, you know, thug life, like, you know, it's part of the game, you know. That's the mentality. It's not like, oh, you know, Drake and Kanye West are being catty. No one has ever said that. No one, that has not left anyone's mouth. But the term cattiness is always associated with women. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a friendly competition. I think Nicki is great. I think she had a tiny bit of a like in her bars where she didn't feel like she needed to, you know, deliver as hard as she did. But as soon as Cardi came up, her bars got together. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Competition, it's like going back and forth. Like, yes, it's negative, but it also it allows you to look within yourself and say, okay, how can I be a little bit better? Like, am I giving my all? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the issue comes when people are focused more on the drama than the music. They're taking their drama to the streets. They're taking their drama to social media, and they're not taking it to the booth where they need to be. That's what you get paid for.
Throwing shoes at the Met Gala.
And then, exactly. People leaving with knots on their heads, and that's not what we want. With that being said, though, there were some killer collabs. That really like showcased that women can really come together and create some dope shit.
And strengthened each other as well. We've got, I mean, there's a whole bunch. I mean, I talked about a Whole Lot of Money already, so I'm actually gonna go with Best Friend by Sweetie and Dojo Cat. First of all, it's a bop. It will never get old to me. But I do think it is two of the top women this year. Dojo Cat, obviously the queen of TikTok, and Saweetie, the queen of content. Like, that girl did not sleep this year. I am disappointed that her album didn't come out yet, Pretty Bitch Music. It didn't come out yet. It was supposed to come out in June. So hopefully that comes into the next year. But I do think that the two of them together, it was like the two queens of 2021.
Yeah. So my pick for collab of the year is gonna be Can You Kiss Me More?
There's a young, but we got nothing to lose.
Yes, I think that SZA and Doja Cat were in their absolute bag. Like, it was definitely a bop. The video was hot.
So
like, that gave me what I needed for the
eye candy
year.
in that video, he was fine.
Oh yeah,
girl.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
so with that video game now. Okay.
What is your choice for collab of the year?
Collab of the year. Honestly, it's a new one. It's got to be Money, actually. Rico Nasty and Flo Milli.
Okay.
Which it kind of goes back to what I was saying about like how the new era is turning, you know, vaginas into dicks. Like that. Literally, they took a song that was, you know, I want some pussy, and they're like, no, I want some money.
Okay.
How about that?
Get paid.
Give me the moolah.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to sit down with Rico Nasty to get a better idea of how that song came to be. So we're gonna roll that real quick.
I think what happened was I was going through all my old music and just kind of like trying to figure out like, what did I create that still has the sound of today? And I came across this song and I was like, holy fuck, this song is actually really good. And it needs another girl on it. Like, it needs that female energy. So I reached out to Flo. Mind you, like, we had already did a song. So this is like our second song that we did, or third. Like, it's weird. We have a lot of music together, but we just was sending it back and forth. And I sent her this one, and she sent this shit back hella fast. So that's when I knew. I was like, oh wait, this song gonna go stupid.
So while we talked about some stellar collabs who've had great years, there were some solo acts that of course had the best years. And it was so hard for me to even think and conceptualize who did it best. You know what I mean? I think from, you know, taking over streaming platforms to dominating the charts to being on everybody's TikTok feed, all the artists that we mentioned really killed it.
Yeah, they did.
For me though, if I had to pick, it's gotta be a tie between Meg and Doja. Like, end of 2020, Megan came out with good news in the midst of all the drama that she was going through, you know, dealing with Tory Lanez stands and all that drama that was surrounding that.
Got her a Popeyes collaboration.
Came back to her
Happy
Popeyes
meals.
collaboration.
Yes.
Like, with that, she also came out with more projects like to come. She came out with singles. She came out with collabs.
The Nike collab.
The Nike collab.
Megan was in her bag.
She was really doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
Even Something for the Hotties, she dropped that special project to thank her fans. I've been playing it on repeat in my car, like ready to cut off anyone in traffic. Just
Don't mess with her. Yeah.
Like, I love that. And then of course, Doja Cat.
Yeah.
She's been working.
She's been working, and I will say that I think she's working a little too hard. I would love to see her take a vacation. As much as I love her music, her tweets are just, she seems stressed.
Yeah.
For good reason.
And her lives too. She goes on live and she kind of talks about how she understands that she's doing what she needs to do to build her kind of empire, but it's a lot, and how she doesn't necessarily enjoy it outside of like the performing and the songwriting.
Right.
Yeah. Hopefully she finds that that balance, because I do not want to see her go anywhere. I think hands down Doja Cat is the top woman for 2021. But to play, you know, devil's advocate, I gotta talk about my girl Bia. You know, I think when I started to think about this shoot and the biggest moments in hip hop, again, her Bia Nicki remix was top of mind. But not only that, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, you know, I'm just a sucker for someone who traditionally works at it, persistence. I mean, 10 years, you guys. Like, that's not something that happens anymore. Like, people kind of give up if they're not popping off streaming or, you know, going viral. Like, they give up. She didn't give up from being, you know, found on, I'm pretty sure it was YouTube by Famlay, and then getting introduced to Pharrell. Like, most people would think, oh, she's made it, but no, she still had to push and push and push. Even after Rihanna gave her a shout out on Instagram. Like, you think, okay, that's the biggest co-sign you can get.
I'm fine. I can quit. I'm retired.
No, but it was this resurgence, or this, you know, this viral trend for a whole lot of money that really put her on the map. And since then, like, she hasn't stopped. So that's my pick.
I'm
Who's
gonna
yours?
say for my pick of Woman of the Year 2021, I gotta give it to Saweetie.
Yeah.
Like, Saweetie has stayed in her bag outside of music and in music. Like, the ranch collab, the Crocs collab.
She did every single collab
She's
this
literally
year.
done everything, and she's really dominated Instagram in a way that's like, whether or not you believe in her as an artist, like you have to admit that she's like building her empire in a very intentional way.
She's going the Rihanna route.
She's going
She's going the Rihanna
and
route.
that's smart. I mean, you don't want to be an artist who kind of just like silos themselves into music. Like the perfect artist is somebody who is a 360 hit and is able to get those brand partnerships and to squeeze into other spaces.
I do think, and I love Sweetie, and I did a panel for her for Complex Slam where we talked about how much content that she's been doing, and it's great because, as we all know, it's hard to create content, let alone when you're like a megastar trying to make music. I do think she's saying yes to too many checks. I do.
Do you think
like,
it's diluting the brand?
Kind of. I mean, she did, I think her Crocs thing had to do with like pickles or something. Like it was weird. I was like, what does this have to do? You know, and this was supposed to be her year to release her debut album. And like, I don't know what happened. You know, I'm sure like she also went through some personal things this year. But I really expected for this to be a pretty bitch summer. And it wasn't.
Girl.
And it wasn't.
I agree. I wanted more music from her. And this is my issue. It's like, of all the dedication I feel like she's putting towards the bag, I would love her to put that same energy towards not only her music, but some of her performances. Her birth control. Her birth control.
I thought you said birth control.
That's what I said.
I was like, how do you know?
What is that? So, what do you know?
When is she gonna switch it up?
No, her breath control. I would just like her performances. Homegirl, I love her to death. Again, can dance, can perform. Her live shows, she's just
Not giving.
She be out of breath. And I'm not one to talk. Like I get winded going up the stairs, but also
same.
like I'm not getting paid to perform. So I'm gonna just need her to just like maybe, like you said, like say no to some like business deals. If she wants to be about the music, be about the music. She might not. You know what I mean? Like she might really just be about the bag, and that's cool too. But like if you want to be like, you know, next level music wise, I think that she should take some time off to focus on that. Give us the tracks that we want. You know, more tracks that aren't remixes to, you know, older songs.
Can I give an honorable mention? Can I give an honorable mention?
Of course.
I think, and some people are probably going to disagree with this, Coi Leray. So, listen. Okay, look. Before y'all do that, I feel like Coi Leray has done a good job this year keeping a hit, getting on an XXL freshman playlist, and like she doesn't give a.
Do we want to talk about the XXL playlist?
Okay, we're not gonna talk about the freestyle. Okay, listen, we're not gonna talk about the freestyle, but here's the thing. So I talked to her at Rolling Loud, and listen, we'll play the clip here.
You teased us about a freestyle out there. Why you let up on us? The crowd was ready. Because I don't owe nobody shit. I don't gotta do nothing I don't want to.
She really just doesn't give a fuck what anybody has to say. And I think that when you are a new artist, you have to kind of have that attitude, because she also acknowledged the fact that she is somebody who is new in the game, somebody who is still trying to perfect her style and like what she can bring to the art. But I think for like the year of 2021, like she kept her a hit on TikTok, whether it was Twinning Them, No More Parties, Slide with Gunna, like she had some heavy hitter collabs, and
when you go and play the song after going to TikTok.
You know, I think if we're looking at work ethic, if we're looking at work ethic, she did a good job. Now, are we comparing her to some of the other ladies that we had on the list? Bia, Sweetie, not necessarily, but as somebody,
she got star power.
She got star power and a star.
For one reason or another, she got star power.
It works somehow.
The thing that I respect about her is, listen, I do think she gets bullied online way too much. You know, sometimes it breaks my heart when I see what she goes through, because I think she's a sweet girl, you know, and I respect people that put out work against all odds. So I will say, like, for that regard, because I'm not a fan of her music, I just know the TikTok hits, but as someone who can look at another woman and be inspired by not, you know, quitting, even though literally it might feel like the whole world is against you, I'll give it to Coi Leray, because she really is just doing her thing and she does not care.
But there are also a million other girls and people, period, out there that are, you know, trying to do the damn thing, trying to put in that work ethic, and they don't get that spark of a connection. You know what I mean? Like they miss that one, you know, door that they could have opened. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people who are putting in that same work that aren't getting noticed for one reason or another.
It takes more to impress you.
Is it talent or is it luck? Like,
or is it connection?
That's what I was gonna say, and I would like to say, do you guys think that, as somebody whose father is in the music industry, do you think that is part of the reason why she is successful in the way that she is?
I think it probably put her in front of, you know, people, put her on the right stages. It probably helped her know exactly what to do, because I think, you know, I would imagine as an artist it might be kind of difficult to figure out, you know, how to get there. But she is someone that has, you know, kind of crossed over in this year and has her spotlight. So I do want to bring it to some of the newcomers that we are seeing. 'Cause we're talking about, you know, the big honchos, but there's definitely some, you know, up and new coming artists that have really done well this year, but might not be their time yet. So like you mentioned, like Tierra Whack, that is my honorable mention. She released a couple of things this year, a couple of tracks. Like I said, she released an EP called Pop, and I have been dying for new music from this woman. I think Tierra is one of the most unique artists that we have.
Oh, for sure. Her visuals, incredible.
Missy
flows,
level.
Yeah.
Lyric,
100%.
everything. So, you know, I'm so happy she dropped at the end of 2021. I have a feeling like it might, you know, continue on into 2022. So I'm excited to see that. But someone else, definitely Flo Milli. I think I've been watching her for the last like year and a half too. Yeah. I also discovered her off of TikTok from In the Party. I think she is just so fun. Like you mentioned, Alana, she's a character. I love a good character. Her voice, I just want to wear a ponytail and just go like this. Every time.
I feel like she'd be like, she kind of reminds me of like if Harley Quinn was like a rapper. Like just like Flo Milli shit and then just like kills you. And you're okay with it because she's adorable. And fiery. And I agree.
Yeah. What about you guys? Who are some up and comers that you're excited for?
For me, up and coming, like obviously Flo Milli, I'm a super big fan. Like it's also so important to me to see like other dark skinned women dominating this space, and like she's just so badass and got the bars to back it up. I'm also gonna say Baby Tate. Like I'm a big Baby Tate fan. Same vibe. Like just like girls who kind of talk their shit, girls who are like 100% natural and like little booties matter, like natural bodies matter. Like that is just something that's a movement that I can get behind. I think it's refreshing to see them do their thing in a way that's not necessarily like too New York or like too they kind of just have their own style and they stick with it.
Yeah, and they have like Flo Milli and Baby Tate have similar sounds but different flows. I think that's like exemplified on I Am Me, that collab that they did. Technically, I didn't mention it because technically it dropped in 2020, but the visuals came out in 2021.
Yeah, so like it counts.
So it kind of counts. It counts. But yeah, just like kind of like what you were saying, just like showing different types of aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like, especially now in a world where I feel like we're hyper aware of how our image is portrayed throughout. In BBL America, there are people that are normal.
Exactly.
Fine
normal bodies.
For me, I'm gonna bring it back to Doechii. I think again, like she reminds me a lot, and you know, people are gonna say whatever they want to say, but she reminds me a lot of Azalea Banks in the way that she uses music to tell stories. And how she uses her cadence as an instrument. So I think that because she's so versatile, she can sing, she writes her own things. She is also a character. She's weird in the best ways possible. I had the opportunity to actually get a one-on-one dance session lesson with Miss Doechii. Let's just say I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing right here. I'll roll the clip real quick.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was embarrassing, but she was a great sport, and she has such like a thirst and a hunger and a drive for what she does. No days off mentality, and yeah, I would love to see more of that. Just a little bit more lyricism in music. So I think she represents that.
So much to look forward to.
So much to look forward to. I think that 2021, I mean, this whole conversation just proved that like women have been doing the damn thing. And 2022, we're gonna be doing the same thing.
We ain't going nowhere.
Not at all. Alana, Natasha, thank you guys so much for sitting here and chatting with us about this. I'm actually curious, we're actually curious, did we hit the head on the hay with this one? Did we miss any people? Who are some people that you guys are paying attention to going into 2022? We'll see you guys next time. Make sure to subscribe to Complex on Instagram and YouTube.
All right, see ya. Bye.